Our dear viewers, indeed, many preparations are taking place ahead of the COP27 summit, which is taking place here in Egypt next November in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. And indeed, the world is facing many challenges regarding the climate change, and we are going to shed more light on that. To shed more light, we are very much delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Yasser Hady, Professor of Solar Energy Physics, Department of Solar and Space Research, National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Doctor, indeed, we are facing many challenges concerning the climate change ahead of our hosting for the COP27 summit, which will be taking place next November in Sharm el-Sheikh. From your point of view, what are the most threatening challenges that the world is facing due to the climate change?
Thank you very much. Firstly, actually, we are facing a new trend called climate change a long time ago. But now the countries all over the world have concentrated on this trend because of the damages caused by this climate change. For example, I will give you some examples of the results of this climate change. For example, global warming, coast erosion, the changing of the agricultural crops, which is affecting the food chain, and accordingly, many people will face the hunger and the shortage of the water and so on.
Yes. So from the Glasgow summit, which took place last year, till the next COP27, did you see real action on the ground in order to try to face these challenges? Yet we hear a lot, especially from the industrialized countries who are mostly responsible on the carbon emission and all of that. Do you see real steps taken on the ground in order to try to curb these repercussions and to face these challenges?
Well, there are some steps have been taken by some countries, but until now we cannot report that the steps are enough to face or to reduce the results affected or resulted from the climate change. But we have to say that there are some steps have been taken, but we are still waiting for other steps to be to enforce the actions on the ground.
Indeed. Sir, one of the most challenging issues is the increase of the temperature of the planet here. So how we can really move in order to try to solve this issue, because we are seeing real repercussions and it is already witnessed here on the ground.
This is a good question because after the Industrial Revolution in 1850s, the temperature have been observed to be increased 1.1 degrees, and after Paris Agreement, the countries agreed to or put a plan to stop the increasing of the temperature from reaching 1.5. Because it's very dangerous if the temperature of the global temperature of the world reaches 1.5, 1.5 degree, and the increase, it will be very threatening problem, which threatens the all over the world.
Yes.
Therefore, it has to some actions or many actions have to be taken to stop the increase. We are away from 0.4 from this limit. Therefore,
which is very alarming, actually, and we are seeing many catastrophes all over the world.
Yes, as I told you, the global warming causes very, as we see in this summer in Europe, for example, we saw
heat waves and many bushfires.
Also some floods here in Pakistan, for example, and so on. and which is also will affect the environmental stability and as I told you, the food chain, and we can also here in Egypt face the erosion of the coast. For example,
Yes.
some coastal cities will be threatened by the rising of the sea level. For example, like Alexandria and the north coast and so on.
So with all what you have just mentioned, the doctor, how in that coming COP27 summit we should increase the funding, especially from
Yes.
the industrialized
Yes.
countries, in order to try to stop that, which
Yes.
is affecting
Yes.
the African continent in particular, as well as they are affecting the whole world indeed.
The problem now, Africa doesn't share the problem, the emissions,
Yes.
only or share only 4% of the problem. But about your question, the summit of Sharm el-Sheikh, the actions that have been taken from the summit of Sharm el-Sheikh are to make laws or to enforce the actions of the laws for all the countries to stop using this conventional source of energy like the fossil fuels and so on, and to involve the renewable sources of energy instead of the fossil fuels causing the pollution and accordingly the global warming.
Yes, turning into the green energy.
Yeah.
To what extent the world is doing that on the ground, and indeed Egypt is moving to a great extent to the use of the renewable energy. So what's the importance of that, and how that could be increased worldwide and in Egypt as well?
You can imagine, for example, by increasing the use of the renewable energy and the green energy, what you mentioned, will be instead of the fossil fuel, which is causing the gases like CO2 gases, methane gases, which are sharing in the global warming in the atmosphere, and therefore we have to increase the use of the renewable energy like solar energy, wind energy, and ground thermal energy, for example, instead of these fossil fuels energy.
Yes. Sir, also you have mentioned the disturbance in the food chain as well.
Yeah.
So how did that happen, and how we can try to solve this issue as well, because it is affecting many other sectors?
How it can happen? I can answer. For example, there are you can imagine an environment which has some agricultural crops, and on these agricultural crops there are many people are living and they have to use they have lived in this place, and also many animals live. If we cut this food chain, for example, according to the global warming, this agricultural crops couldn't be planted, for example. Accordingly, these animals will leave this place, and also the people and so on. Therefore, there will be a cut in the food chain in this area, and will affecting sequentially in the food chain itself.
Yes. What about also, sir, the green hydrogen, the importance of the usage of green hydrogen?
Green hydrogen firstly means the production of hydrogen as a fuel from the solar energy, or from the green energy. I would like to generalize the word. The hydrogen as a fuel is very important fuel instead of the gasoline or coal or and so on, because the waste of this fuel is just water. Just water. Water is a burning of hydrogen and if we burn this fuel, the waste of its burning is just water. Therefore, there are no global warming gases, and there's no CO2, there is no methane, and so on.
Yes. Sir, the increase of the people's awareness regarding this issue, because many people maybe they are not aware how they can contribute actually in solving this issue, or not to increase the problem. So how we can increase the people awareness, and from your point of view as an expert, what should be the role of the people here?
Two main things. First of all, through the media, for example, your channels and so on, and also by making some laws in the country itself to prevent, for example, cutting the trees, prevent wasting the water resources, for example, prevent the falling of the waste from the factories in the water resource, and so on.
The importance of using here the electric cars, because many countries and cities around the world are starting to do that, and indeed we are pushing towards this direction, and we are somehow moving the city of Sharm el-Sheikh, which will be hosting the COP27, into a green city. So the importance of this step.
Oh, this very important step, using the electric cars, but to first to ensure that the electric source will come from the green electricity, not from the conventional electricity coming from the fossil fuel. Therefore, it is a good step, I think, and I support this step by my opinion, and I hope we will generalize this step in all over the country.
Indeed, Dr. Yasser Hady, Professor of Solar Energy Physics, Department of Solar and Space Research, the National Research Institute of Astronomy and Geophysics. Thank you very much for your precious input. Always a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you very much.
And our dear viewers, with that we come to the end of this segment in The Breakfast Show. A short break, and after that we'll be back with my dear colleague Amal Mukhtar. So stay tuned.